we're so focused often on really creating excuses, bullshit excuses about I don't have enough of this, or I can't give enough of this in order to get the reward that I want from it. But the truth is, right, welcome back, Wellness Ninjas, to another episode of the Wellness Dojo Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Craik, and today, for the first time in a while, I am going solo on this episode of the Wellness Dojo Podcast, and I want to talk today about something that I think is one of the biggest things that's holding people back from success, from achieving their goals, whether those goals be big, massive, planned out dreams that they've come up with that inspire them and that drive them, or whether those are smaller goals that maybe you want to achieve next week. I think this particular thing really holds people back in so many different ways. And what that is consistency and discipline. So why consistency and discipline? Well, I think, and I know from experience, that society today has us craving instant gratification. Delayed gratification is something that we are unfamiliar with in today's society. We get instant gratification through social media, through television, through relationships for the most part. And I think it's something that we've now come to expect, is this instant gratification. Maybe not even on the surface, but under the layers, that instant gratification, we just want things now. We want to feel good now. And we have access to things that make us feel good now. And so when it comes to working for something, when it comes to doing the little things that need to be done on a consistent basis and staying disciplined to those things, I think it's so much harder now when we've been primed and we've been kind of developed into beings who can feel good on a whim, who have access to feeling good on the snap of a finger. Like I think it really is something that's holding us back. So consistency and discipline. What does that mean? Well, for me, I always think back to my martial arts journey. Martial arts really taught me that delayed gratification. We were constantly working towards these things that never really gave us a reward, right? Like the reward was always so far away. For example, me wanting to achieve my black belt. I knew from the start that was going to be a long journey. We didn't achieve black belts when we were kids. We didn't achieve, it was something that you knew you were going to be working 15, 16, 17, 18 years towards getting with our instructor. And so you knew that you weren't going to get that instant gratification like that if that was the goal. But even working towards perfecting a movement, it was very rare that you got any sign of reward or gratification from our instructor. He's a bit of a hard ass. He's old school, and he really believed in helping you become better through constructive criticism, through showing you where the improvements needed to be. It was pretty rare coming up that you heard hey, that looks really good. It was always about, there's something more that you can be done here. Here, let's tweak this a little bit more. And so I was able to develop kind of that delayed gratification of just really placing value on the work was something that was so important to me. Placing value and learning the value in the journey versus the reward. The sweat, the hard work, the tears, sometimes the blood, the sore muscles. All of those things I learned to value over time, because those things were a sign of progress for me. Those things were a sign of me developing, me growing, me doing better, me taking that extra step forwards, just getting that little bit stronger, being able to jump that little bit higher, twist that little bit faster. And then you got to go and test yourself in different ways at competitions. You test yourself against different people. You test yourself against yourself. You would take videos and watch it back and see where the improvements. Did I move faster that way a little bit? That delayed gratification was so important in that process. And had I gotten that reward every single time, that good job every single time, I really don't think that I would have worked as hard to get to where I'm at. And then once I actually got to my black belt, that big goal, that massive goal that I was looking to achieve, once I actually got there, I realized that this wasn't it. Like, this wasn't the thing. So that thing that I was, that big reward that I was looking for, like, it wasn't what I expected that it would be. And what that did for me was it reinstated that belief in me, and that just knowing that the journey that I was on there was so much more valuable than receiving the reward, than achieving the goal. The journey was what made me who I am. The journey is what instilled those principles into me that I now use in my daily life, right? But it was the disciplined, consistent actions that got me there. And they weren't big actions along the way. And that's the thing that I really want to touch on here is I think so many people are held back from starting, from continuing, from just taking that next step every single day because they feel like they don't have the right equipment. They don't have enough time to commit to it right now. They don't have enough money to hire a coach for what they want to achieve. Whatever the case is, we're so focused often on really creating excuses, bullshit excuses about I don't have enough of this, or I can't give enough of this in order to get the reward that I want from it. But the truth is, the small, consistent actions, if you can stay disciplined, and when I say disciplined, that is accepting the fact that the actions that you take on a daily basis are not going to be rewarded instantly. That those actions that you take are not going to feel good every single time. Those actions and behaviors that you're creating, those habits that you're instilling, they're going to feel empty during that building phase. That type of discipline built consistently, even with the smallest daily actions, will bring you results. And those small actions are going to be so powerful because they are going to help build your confidence. They are going to instill the principles that you need in order to actually sustain whatever goal you're looking to achieve. This is, I think, why so many people do achieve big goals that they set out for themselves, but then you look back. A good example is like The Biggest Loser, that TV show. There's many, many studies done and interviews done about contestants that were on that show that lost massive amounts of weight and then gained it all back and more, right? Because they were looking for that instant gratification always. They did what needed to be done to get to that reward, but they didn't actually have the time necessary to build the principles, right? To build the values, to build the belief systems around their actions to actually sustain it. What good is it to achieve some big goal if you can't hold on to it, if you can't sustain that goal? It just doesn't make sense, right? But if you can stay consistent and disciplined with small actions over time, you will build those principles, those values, those beliefs that allow you and give you the ability to actually sustain and maintain the reward, the goal that you achieve. So consistency and discipline, those two things are so important. And I really encourage people who are listening to this right now, think about the small actions that you know that you could start today, that you know that you could be consistent with today, that you aren't currently doing, and focus on getting really freaking consistent on those things. Focus on making those things 100% committed. Focus on making those habits 100% solid in your daily routine. Don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry about the time that you can't commit right now. Worry about what can I do? What are those things that I can do? Forget about the feeling good about it. Forget about any reward that you might receive. And remember why you're doing it. Remember why, right? All these people who are constantly saying like, I have to go and work out, or oh, I got to get that workout in. Like, no, you're choosing to do that every time. Every action that you take, whether that's sitting on the couch, whether that's going for a walk, or whether that's doing an intense workout, every action that you take, you're choosing to do that. That is a choice. Own that choice. Understand that choice. Understand that you are choosing to go to practice today. You are choosing to do those movements over and over and over again. That's what I was doing in martial arts. I was choosing to do those things over and over and over again. I could have quit at any time. And trust me, believe me, there was times I wanted to quit. There was times I was pissed off, frustrated that I had worked so hard on this thing and I still didn't get an attaboy from it. You have to trust your work. Feel good about the work that you're doing and understand that you're choosing to put that work in for the greater good because it aligns with your values, because it aligns with the person that you want to be, that you are being. It's a choice, right? It's like, it's one of the most frustrating things when I was personal training, right? Is like people were there for me and not for themselves. And you got to do it for you. Whatever those actions are, remind yourself you're doing this for you. This is a choice. You get to go to work out, right? This is a choice that you're making. Feel empowered about that choice. Right? Don't focus on like the things you're missing out on. It's a choice, right? The things that you choose, you're choosing either in alignment with who you want to be or out of alignment with who you want to be. But focus on the small things that you can do today. Stay disciplined with those small things. Forget about feeling good about it. Forget about the gratification and just keep working towards it. I hope you enjoyed this solo episode. My name is Kyle Craik. I'll see you guys in the next episode.